There's a reason why you get stopped up when you expect these big outcomes from your endeavors. And when you put a lot of heart and soul, especially into a craft, a lot of time and effort and practice into something such as your music or your art form. Maybe you're doing a big art exhibition. Maybe you have something to display. You have these deadlines, and deadlines can be very good for getting things done, but they also start to attach you to the expected, the known, the material realm, your pre-existing known environment. And what does that do? That makes you remember what your past experiences are of success, of outcomes. And oftentimes those past experiences are part of your stepping stones to get to where you are right now. They're not filled with all victories, are they? A lot of them are filled with lackluster turnouts, maybe a lot of self-critique, maybe even critique from your peers, your family, your friends, things like that. So you start to become obsessed with the results. And you find that the more you think about the results, the further you get from a satisfactory outcome. I always relate this to releasing an album. For a lot of for a lot of mainstream listeners and audiences, you probably don't even listen to albums, full-length albums these days. But a lot of musicians still have a drive to put together albums because, the entirety of what can be said generally just isn't wrapped up in a song. I mean, singles are great. That's what most people are used to listening to, is one song at a time. You find very few people out there listening to the entire discography of an artist at this point in time, unless they become infatuated, and there's different psychological marketing ploys at hand in those scenarios too. But when you put out an album, there's a lot of momentum, and there's everything that you put into wanting to make sure that the production is well on the album. Make sure that your songs are the best written they possibly can. Make sure that you have a release date. Make sure that you have marketing for getting your music out to people. You have a show that people are going to be able to come to and attend and buy your merch and buy the album and see it played live, and all of these things that really, by the time you're at that point, you can metaphorically have led yourself to the top of a cliff, the highest of the highs. You've climbed the mountain. But who's to say after that date, you don't just jump off the mountain and you're back at ground level where you started? That can feel like failure a lot of the time. And you see this happen in different circumstances too. People amp up their birthday parties or their weddings so much focus on this one day, this one event. And then after it, there's almost a depression that sets in because, you've put so much expectation on it. Now the thing is done and past. What do you even do? The perfect storm hit, and I'm guessing that it probably wasn't. Nothing is perfect. So my guess is that it probably wasn't perfect. So taking this into any other example of your life where you put too much intent, too much pressure on a result or an outcome, you most often lead yourself to failure if you're looking at it as this monumental task or the biggest thing you'll ever do in your life. And you don't want to be that tsunami wave. We function much more like the influxes of the tides and the cycles of the ocean and the moon and all that. We're beings of cycles and routine and patterns. So why would we expect that one giant crash is going to ripple out to everybody? It's probably social conditioning in a lot of ways and societal conditioning. And this video is not about getting to the bottom of that, but more so to give us a reminder that, we are the ripples in the water, and we are constantly projecting small little creative bursts at a time. And sometimes they get bigger. Sometimes we get bigger swells. And sometimes we have smaller things and they don't hit as hard, and that's okay. That's all part of our output and our exertion, our energy exertion, and our creative inertia to help grow us into what we are. So does seeking specific results lead to success? Almost never. If it leads to if you see that as a practice, then sure. You have to practice. You have to grow your thing. You have to grow yourself. But just like I don't think about exercising my body. Like sometimes I have to get myself up in the morning and say, okay, I'm just going to hop on the treadmill for a minute and, throw some iterations in my workout and maybe do some push-ups, maybe do some burpees, do some ghost boxing while I'm running, whatever it is. I'm not thinking about that because I'm trying to get super ripped, even though I'm obviously. But does my body grow over time? Do results happen over time? Absolutely. So taking the pressure off of that outcome. I mean, so many people talk about this in these personal development niches and genres throughout the internet, but seeking results leads to failure. Stop seeking results, because you'll get results anyways. You'll get results no matter what. So I guess there's also a fact of how seeking so heavily something you really want really is a fear-based message that you're sending out there to your external environment, isn't it? Because wanting something so bad implies that you've had lack of that thing before. And this is why you can learn from the past, but don't use the past as your blueprint for your future. Keep it present. Everyone, it's so simply said, and it means a lot of different things to a lot of people. And it obviously is more than just being present. Sometimes you gotta, realistically look ahead. But presence is key. Presence is definitely a key when it comes to dissolving your outcomes and dissolving your need and your stranglehold over the things you want and desire and the results you want to get. So act as if it has already done. Dissolve that outcome. Give your present self all the love in your endeavors forward, and project who this is getting to. I hope this finds you well today, and I hope this finds you because you're a lot like me. And I'm sending all the love to you. Much peace.